Hello, ladies and gents. Today I'm going to review the close read from yesterday, and then from there you can take an open book quiz, and I'll review your type 2s on the open book quiz as well. So yesterday's close read, for the first phase of reading, you had to rewrite the final stanza in simpler words, removing the words and replacing them with your own: battered cordons, cradled sword, uttermost reaches, rapture, power, and ease. So in the first line, it could have read, I banged around against the obstacles around me. The second line would be, instead of I cradled my wings on the breeze, it would be, my wings were held by the air underneath me. And then the third line would read, instead of then soared to the uttermost reaches, then flew to the highest parts of the sky. And then the last line would read, with happiness, with strength, and quite easily. So happiness, strength, and easily. So that would be a way that you could have reworded the final stanza with easier words. In the second phase, I had asked you to look at the structure of the poem and to be looking at how it uses that end rhyme to emphasize, describe, show, or imply. Instead of end rhyme, I could have talked about how this is in fact a lyric poem too. Remember when we talked about lyric poems? We discussed how a lyric poem is a poem that expresses great emotion and has a set rhyme scheme. In this case, the poem has an A, B, C, B rhyme scheme, where you're seeing the poem take the line abide inside the second and the fourth line rhyme, but it and corner do not rhyme with anything. So they use this A, B, C, B rhyme scheme in this lyric poem. And so that's sort of the way it uses end rhyme with that A, B, C, B rhyme scheme in this lyric. You could have began with the poem is written using the end rhyme to emphasize the rhyming structure of a lyric poem. From there, you could have taken one of these stanzas, and I think my favorite stanza is one where the end rhyme kind of ties into the message. So I would have discussed how, um, I think this poem where it uses the word desire here, horizon sea, desire immensity, because we have this person desiring to reach a specific goal. And so within this stanza, I would use this as my evidence to talk about how we have sea and immensity rhyming, but by not including this line desire, which is that C part, so A, B, C, B, that word desire is sort of emphasized and it stands out through the way that this rhyme scheme rhymes the B's but leaves the A and the C unrhymed. It sort of makes those lines stand out and are emphasized through that. And then I would use that line and then I would explain just like I did in sentence form for my full sentence analysis. In the final phase, we have looking at a specific theme here, that although life's full of challenges, people can achieve success. They can achieve their goals. They can achieve the things that they want to in life. And I would begin my phrase with, the author supports the theme that although life's full of challenges, people can achieve success. And I would say by revealing that the speaker is able to achieve his goal of flight by the end of the poem and soaring to those layers of the world that he wants to. I would use this final stanza as my evidence, and I'd talk about then soar to the uttermost reaches with rapture, with power, which ease. I would also maybe use how at the beginning here, even though he wants to achieve the goal, his wings are pressed close to his side. And I would talk about how obviously the wings being pressed close to his side, he hasn't even got the opportunity to achieve that goal and to achieve his success yet. But then here at the end, where it says he's soaring with power, with ease, we see that goal achievement at the end of this poem. So that's really how I would talk about the 3 phases from yesterday. So let's look at today's open book quiz. For number 11, for your type 2, you're going to answer the question, how does the speaker change from the first stanza to the third? And cite evidence from the poem to support your answer. Please make sure you do this in that analysis structure, beginning with your opening answer to how the speaker changes from the first stanza to the third. Make sure that you also follow that opening statement with your quoted evidence, and then you follow your quoted evidence with your full sentence analysis, where you're connecting the specific details of your evidence back to the opening statement you make at the beginning. As a self-check, make sure you're underlining, quotation marking, and bold facing those 3 parts of your analysis paragraph, and then make sure that you're finally taking that time to check for spelling, punctuation, and capitalization to earn that 1 point. In the final type 2 of the open book quiz, how does the title of the poem support the theme? Make sure that you begin by answering the question with a specific theme you noticed that's contained from the title. Remember, the title is called Your World. So think about your world as the title to support some sort of theme that you can take away from this piece. You may use the close reading areas about each theme that we talked about to help you answer this response as well. Add quotation marks after your opening statement where you state a theme that connects to the title Your World, and then make sure you full sentence analyze where you're pulling out those specific details from your quote and connecting them back to your opening statement that you make to address the task of the question. After you do that, make sure you're checking your spelling, punctuation, and capitalization within your responses, and as your self-check, underline, quotation marks, and boldface the parts of your paragraph in the same order as listed on this type 2 self-check. So please go ahead and get started with today's open book quiz.